that's where my eyes just kind of went to immediately here. What are we looking at here? Talk to me.
So our family has served in every single branch except for the Coast Guard,
Mm,
and it's a representation of those branches. On the left are my cousins. So the top left is my cousin Dewan. He was a Marine. In the middle is my uncle Chuck. He is in the Army. And lower left is my uncle Dwayne, who was in the Navy. And then my grandfather and I were in the Air Force.
with technology, we have the ability to hold space like this. And like I said in the beginning, there's a punchline. It doesn't matter if Charlinda or I are successful. We're not different than you. We are exactly like you, have the same abilities as you. The difference is we're standing here holding space to say, hey, we can do this. We can have our abilities to be successful and support each other because we have a bond that connects us as veterans. And I think as we build our tribe and we start to recognize many of you who may have felt disenfranchised or someone who you share this with to say, hey, the story of Mud Sauce is amazing. Charlinda's story is amazing. Her family service is amazing, but the reality is this is our collective legacy. My legacy is Charlinda's legacy. Charlinda's legacy is my legacy. And if we look at it that way, it changes the perspective to say, your legacy out there is mine too. And I want to see you succeed. We want to see you succeed. And that's where Charlinda says the unlocking power of being able to pay it forward. So in the beginning, you gave me the punchline. Well, here it is again, and you didn't see it coming.
I love it. I love it because that's exactly what we're supposed to be doing. I know multiple branches have this mantra of one team, one fight, and we just need to translate that to the civilian sector. When our veterans are becoming civilians, we need to let them know it's still one team, one fight. But
Mm,
you have to be audible about what fight are you fighting.
yes.
Don't try to do this by yourself. Don't think that you're the only one going through this. There's other people going through the same thing. Don't look
Mm,
at me and just be like, I've had multiple people as civilians and say, "Oh, she's like 25. Well, she doesn't know." I had a guy berate me because I parked in the disabled veterans parking spot, and I
mm.
said I'm 70% disabled. I'm not going to argue with
With
you about
you, right?
it. I will let you know that I have every right to park here.
Mm,
And he just couldn't wrap his brain around it.
mm-hmm,
You know, look, yeah, well, our veterans are actually a lot younger than you think.
mm-hmm.
Um, and women serve too. And yes, not all the scars that people carry are not visible.
Hello.
We have to do our part, one, to tell people about our collective struggles. We
Yes.
cannot hold this stuff to ourselves. If we're going to improve the situation for our transitioning veterans, we have to be upfront and open about it. And we also have to let them know that you don't have to start from ground zero. Like, we've been in business, and many of us have been in business. We can't get so full of ourselves. We're like, oh, well, I'm at this level now.
Mm,
There's no job. We learned that there's no job that's beneath you.
yes.
And at one point, you were grinding. Some of us are still grinding. Don't fake the funk. You're not sitting next to a Bugatti. Let them know where your priorities are.
Mm-hmm. Now let me tell you, what difference is that if you're now pinned down with life
Yes.
and you don't see a way out? It's coming from the left, it's coming from the right, and you have it coming from the forward. You have the ability to call that air support. You can call someone. You can call for help, and you don't have to go it alone. You don't have to start from ground zero. You can say, Charlinda, can you sit with me right now? Right
Yeah.
now, I need you to cover me because I am out of ammo.
And our
Okay?
responsibility is to be the person that is dependable. It's
Mm-hmm.
not about not having time. There's no point where
Mm-hmm.
I become too busy. There's no point where I become too busy. My cell phone works. And if it's 1 o'clock in the morning, so be it.
Pick it up. This is the heaviest thing you'll pick up right here. Because once you pick this up, hey, I need some support.
Yeah.
It's as easy as that. But I made the connection to service because in service, right, it'd be like, man, I'll call air support in a heartbeat. But in life, you need support. So reach out. You're not alone. And I think that's one of the biggest takeaway points from all this here. One question I have for you, Charlinda, for someone out there who may be thinking, you know what, everything sounds great, but you know what, who's going to want to listen to me? Or someone who may be out there or may have been dealt a blow, right? Got that sucker punch, the business idea didn't work, has a setback, and they figure, you know what, I'm just going to fold them. What would you say to someone who may be in a low point right now, post service, who probably took a chance, but life happens, a setback, a delay in shipment, a discontinuation of something, COVID hit, you have to pivot, maybe they didn't pivot enough. What would you say to someone out there who may be struggling as they're trying to, find that purpose?
I would tell them, when you believe in something bigger than yourself, rock bottom has a trampoline.
Say it one more time for the people in the back.
When you believe in something bigger than yourself, rock bottom has a trampoline. And I took that from my rock bottom moment. People saw on the surface that I'd won the Bob Evans Award. It was a big national level award. And I had brought my husband at the time to the event. Everything at that point in my life was the top of the mountain. We were in all kinds of press. The very next week, I was leaving my marriage to an apartment with nothing in it. I was in Washington, D.C., miles away from my company, which was in Ohio. I'd stole a cot from the garage so I had something to sleep on in my empty apartment. And I ran my company in that empty apartment in like the worst emotional pain I've ever been in for 4 months. Then I had a surgery that went wrong. So I had so much pride that I didn't want people to know how much pain I was in, that I recovered from the surgery basically alone in the apartment. And I was in a lot of pain. And I didn't want to tell people that I was in emotional and physical pain. And throughout that whole journey of being married, I dealt with 10 years of infertility. So I've dealt with so many rock bottom moments. And to see now the company doing well, about to celebrate my son's first birthday, having chosen to be a single mother, and it worked the first time I tried. That when you just believe, sometimes it's just the simple fact of believing that your situation can and will get better, that it is a self-fulfilling prophecy, that it does. And my mom gave me a simple bit of advice. She said, if the day is going so bad that all you want to do is cry in your pillow, close the door to your bedroom, go to your room, cry your eyes out. Just cry as hard as you can till your eyes feel like they're about to bleed and pop out and roll across the floor. And she said, you're going to feel such a relief. Your body's going to get so relaxed. She said, take a nap, sleep to the next day if you have to. But when you open your eyes, when every day you open your eyes is someone breathing purpose into your life. You are supposed to be here. So be here. And that was the advice that I followed. There was probably about 6 months of just cry my eyes out, but get up the next day. Cry your eyes out, get up. And eventually you don't have to cry anymore. And eventually things get better. But you have to keep going. You have to keep going.
That's the glacier aspect that no one sees, right? You know how you have those images of the glacier and all the stuff that's under it that nobody sees underwater. Thank you for sharing that, because again, those moments are the moments that nobody would have known. The business and everything is fine and things are moving and shipments are moving and fill in the blank is good, but unbeknownst to us, there's an empty house on the cot.
Yeah.
There's
And in the midst of that, they put me on the cover of Military Spouse magazine that was all over the world.
Hey, I saw you on the cover, man. Congrats. And you're like,
Everybody was, all over the world. I was getting text messages of people taking pictures with the magazine. I'm in the MPF, girl. I swear I just saw your
I
face
just saw
on the
your face, and the whole time there's this wound and all that salt just being thrown right on it.
and I was just like, wow. But you know what? The editor, I called her and I said, don't put my face on this. This is what's happening. She's like, oh, I'm going to do it. And let me tell you why. She said, because this is bigger than you. She said,
Wow.
this is bigger than you because I'm trying to show rather than tell the narrative that military spouses are more than 60s housewives that have dinner on the table by 7 and take care of the kids and just wait on the guy to come home from his deployment. You
Mm-hmm.
know, you're more than that. You're running companies, you're starting movements, you're starting nonprofits, you're doing all these things. And I want to start celebrating that aspect of the military spouse. That's why I'm rebranding, and that's why you're still going to be on the cover. And whatever you do, you just keep going. And that's where that I got that.
Mm.
I internalized that as if you believe in something bigger than yourself, if you remove your own woes and get off yourself, like, then this rock bottom moment has a trampoline
Wow.
and it'll get better. And I actually became encouraged by people sharing those photos because some of them would say, oh, wow, I didn't know that they cared about us being entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
Or now I feel more confident to share that I have this business that I want to start. Or I know a mill spouse that I can email her and ask her how she did X, Y, or Z.
Mm.
So you never know how your testimony is a catalyst for someone else's life. Someone has something that they need to do. And the match, the flame that's going to light that is you telling the story about when you were in Iraq or when you were in service. They just need to hear it.
Yes.
No more than that. Nothing really magical. Just they need to hear your story.
Yes. And I think that's powerful because it goes back to the beginning things we talked about, which is the intention, right? It's literally our intention is to come into the space and hold space and be able to create something to pay it forward. And at times we might not feel like it. Not every day you feel like I'm paying it forward and I'm blessing someone's life. But the fact is, even when you don't feel it, that is at play. And those magazines, the cover, even if you were, bloodshot, red eyes, crying like, man, today's the last day I want to hear this message of congrats, this, that, or third. But it was doing the work that was bigger than you. And I think that's a good point because it kind of resets the reality of this is who we are in the grand scheme of things, and there's so much more out there that we are a part of, but to hold that back we limit so many others. So I love the quotes and the kind of points that you've shared. As we start kind of wrapping up here, I always kind of say this is the first video conversation we've had. We've been able to hold rooms and be together on Clubhouse and speak with folks, but it's not the last conversation because there's so much more to do and so much more work that has to be done. But I think this is a great introduction into the amazing work that you are doing beyond just a product, but a story of legacy, a story of service, an example to others out there, being able to rolling your purpose. And because of that, all good things are coming to you because of that, because you're in your zone, you're in your purpose. And it's an example, especially with everything you've shared, that despite separation, despite setbacks, despite failures that some would say, these are all just challenges and roadblocks along the way as you're moving and navigating this thing called life. But you're still here and you're still sharing your story and you're speaking up, and whether it be on a stage or one-on-one or a Starbucks coffee shop, you have a responsibility to pay that forward. So I appreciate you sharing your heart, being open, being vulnerable, and holding this space with me. But in closing, I just want to thank everyone for tuning in. And again, like we said in the beginning, the punchline in all this stuff is that you can. I didn't know many of the things that Charlynda shared, but the point remains even more so now that if she can do it, if I can do it, you can do it. Because we're not better than you, we have the ability to lift each other up. And that's, to me, the most powerful thing of being able to relate to someone else and see that, hey, if you can have gone through all those things, that would have shut down many people, right? My marriage is gone. I'm on a cover. I'm a hypocrite. I'm a lie. What am I? I'm a joke. All the thoughts that would pollute your mind, but that message that even she gave you of saying no, this is bigger than you. That is a reaffirmation of the bigger picture. So I would now say that to you all watching, regardless of what you're going through, it's bigger than you. And that thing that you're going through, it's not going to destroy you. It's going to make you stronger. It's going to give you the ability to move forward and have that as a toolkit so that tomorrow, just like Charlynda today shared her story, it might make a difference in somebody else's life who may not have the intestinal fortitude to push through, but your story of what you went through may give them that strength. Just like I know Charlynda's story hopefully is helping someone today who is hearing this wherever you may be. What are your closing thoughts for those folks out there, Charlynda?
And I believe in you. And if we haven't met before today, I'm glad to make your acquaintance. And I am available if you need me. You can just go to charlyndagene.com. The booking is also direct to my email. So you can send me a note and say, hey, this is what's on my mind, or I just want to talk out my idea, or you know what, I just need a sister to talk to. So let me know.
I love it.
And thank you, David. I love David, the name David anyway.
I wonder why do you love that name so much? that blessing that you have. Congrats on the first birthday coming along. Again, it's just just powerful stuff for sure. I appreciate your time. I'd look forward to more collaborations and us talking more, but I think this is definitely what was needed for the moment for us to be able to hold this space and be able to pay it forward for those that are watching. So definitely comment below. We're giving away some of the product from Mutt Sauce, so stay tuned for that. That'll be coming out, so that's already been covered. So make sure you comment below your branch of service, time that you serve. We'll be picking folks from the audience to pay that forward to. So more to follow there. If you have questions, comments, concerns, you know how to find Charlynda. We've brought up the site. You can also comment wherever you see this, and we'll make sure that we relay the information as needed as well. So whether it be Facebook or YouTube or Instagram, we want to engage with you. We want to talk with you. This is a iterative conversation. So thank you for spending time with us. One-on-one profiles and audacity with Charlynda Scales, carrying a generation of good taste. An Air Force veteran brings the sauce and arguably has brought the boom and the hot sauce and all that today. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you, David.
We will see you guys next time.